Hey yo, how's it going,
Good
everyone?
afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you, Trevor?
I'm really good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's been a busy day for me. A lot of streaming today.
Yeah, it's been nonstop. Do you have any plans of what you're gonna do with your day after the streaming marathon is over?
Oh, for today? Yeah, I know exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna finally play um, Hot Wheels City with my son. So he sets up like all his Hot Wheels cars, like around
Hmm.
like the Lego buildings, and it's Hot Wheels City. And so we're gonna play in
Awesome.
Hot Wheels City for a while, and
So you guys have
then
Lego buildings? Sorry, just to pause for a second.
well, like
You
some,
guys
not
have
like
like a Lego
big.
city?
I think you're
Okay.
imagining something more grandiose than like what it
I'm
actually
imagining
is.
Lego movie.
So yeah, no, yeah. So imagine that, but like not at all, and just like a bunch of little like buildings that are like jail cells or whatever like came with all the different like Lego pieces. It might
Got
be a
you.
tree house, who knows.
Yeah.
But but there are a few um like bigger things. Like he has like a Hot Wheels track, like and two of the cars can race and like jump through like a
Oh,
shark's mouth.
that's sweet, dude.
It is.
Hey,
It's pretty
this Lucas,
fancy.
thank you for the follow, man.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
thank you. Yeah, we love having you here. Thanks for joining. So quick, I guess intro. I kind of dove right into that. Welcome to Launchpad. Woo woo. And so what we do on Launchpad is we build apps start to finito, right until they're done. And so this is our fifth stream of this particular app. We're building an app called Journey, which lets you track job listings. So yeah, so we have gone through a couple iterations, like adding basic styling, setting up the project, getting authentication working, getting our API set up. And where we left off was we had implemented authentication, and we're doing that. We're just kind of using our own username and password authentication, and we are storing that information in a database, Postgres, and we are using render.com to host our database. Is that a pretty good recap?
I think that's pretty complete. Yeah. So the last thing that you saw us do on last week's episode
Sure.
was we if well, we can log in. Yeah, let's do that. And we basically spent a little bit of time like laying out this login page and doing a few layout changes to our logged in experience. But the main
Yeah.
area of our focus was oh, that's interesting. I think
Yeah.
it's because you have to be on localhost 8888
Oh, oops, that's right.
rather
I'm not
than.
even running Netlify dev. I'm running the total
Oh,
wrong
true, true.
command. Man, look at
Um,
me. Oof. What
it's
am I
okay.
doing?
I've been there many times. Getting like making that switch over to Netlify Dev, I must have
Yeah.
run npm start instead of it. Like done this exact thing like countless times.
Yeah.
It's just a dude. It's to be expected,
That is funny.
but yeah, like we spent a
Ooh.
little bit of time looking at like doing some layout stuff using Chakra, and then built this job listing form. So what we want to do is we basically created our mutation to uh, add a new job listing to the page, and then we covered things like updating the cache with the response from our create mutation, and then what we're going to do today, as the title of the stream implies, is actually like tying up the server part of that question, and actually inserting a new row in the database, returning real data based on the
Real
input
data.
that we're given, and yeah, just making it all work for real. At the moment, we're using mock data. We're relying a lot on just kind of yeah, like throwing around fake values just to test the interaction between our there you go, mock data, that's it.
Yeah.
um, that the interaction between all of our tools is working correctly. But now it's
Yeah.
time to do it live, as Bill O'Reilly once said.
That's amazing. Yeah, exactly. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to wire up that workflow. And so now that's going to be like the complete process. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So right, I think we can kind of tackle this in order too. So for example, create listing right now logs what we give, like the params that we. Oh, I just got
We're back.
stream starting. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry
uh,
about that. Ugh.
all good. So so currently our create listing mutation just console logs the params that we give it and then returns some mock data back to us. But I think that that might be a good place to start in our transition to real data. What we can do is first, uh, basically we want to just get rid of the instances of mock data. So the first thing we can
Yeah.
do is fire up create listing to actually insert rows into the database and return real data. And then our listings query can right now just be set up to return an array of listings from our database,
I
which would
love
just
it.
be an empty array. Um,
So I'm just gonna delete this. Step
yeah,
one.
let's do it.
Is that
That's
cool?
great.
Because I love deleting
Just
code.
let's delete it. Dude. That's like a good 40 lines maybe of deleted
Oh, I
code.
love it. Exactly.
That's
Goodbye.
pretty sweet. It satisfies your appetite.
Oh my
Um,
goodness. Goodbye.
right now, I guess we could just return in place of that. We could just return an empty array there.
Yep. Boom. And then for create listing, I'm not even gonna worry about what this returns right now. Actually,
Yeah,
I'll just
we'll
return
get
null. Yeah,
to that.
exactly. Okay. So the first thing that we need to do, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over here into auth because auth has some stuff that I feel like we can borrow. And correct me if
Yeah.
I'm wrong, but we've got like a lot of the setup code for our database connection. Um,
Uh-huh.
and we'll use the same thing over there, right? Should we? What's the deal with this? Because it's in a serverless function,
Hmm.
and we want to share
Um,
it.
yeah, so I'm not really sure how serverless functions work, like in terms of sharing modules between each other, but I
I
assume that we could just create a module like in the source of our or in the root directory of our repo, and then they can both draw from that.
I don't think that they can. I think that you
Okay.
can't pull past the root of this. Like it won't
Of
understand.
functions, yeah.
Yeah, like we have to be within the function. So generally, I think there's two ways to handle this. One is like create a utilities package that your functions will share. I think that's a bit overkill in our case, and I'm thinking that we could just copy pasta. I mean, it's only two cases, right? We're only using it in two
Yeah.
places.
Okay, here's another. I'm just going to throw another idea
Ooh,
out
throw it
there.
out there.
And here, since we're in auth, I'm just going to try. I can like explain by doing, I guess. But what if we just say exports Sequelize equals Sequelize, and like exports user equals
Because
user?
our other function cannot. I don't think. Like I don't know that we can use code even within the functions directory. We need to check that. Like I
I
don't. I
okay,
don't know if
okay,
you
okay.
can. I don't think you can like
Yeah,
import anything relative unless you're in a fold. I don't know. Let's find out. Let's ask.
let's see. Let's see.
Let's
Sequelize.
test. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, like you said, we'll do it
uh,
live. Excuse me.
exactly. Like if and maybe the right place for this Sequelize stuff to live would be like our GraphQL file rather
Yeah.
than our auth.js file. But for right now, let's just test to see if this
Yeah.
works at all. And to do that, we can just say console log Sequelize, and we'll look for a log in our console
Yep.
at the bottom of the
And the
terminal
other
window.
thing too is if this works and we're going to use the SQLized stuff in both places, then we could possibly just create another file.
Hmm.
Okay, so it seems to be
So
there.
it works.
So we
So yeah,
can do a
the only reason
utilities
that
file.
yeah, the only reason that I wouldn't want to have like a file another file within functions that's not a function is that
Oh,
um,
it's going to treat it as
Netlify
one.
treats every JavaScript file in here as a serverless function.
Right. That's the
But
catch.
Yeah, but I think that this I don't think there's anything wrong with this type of setup. I'm just thinking maybe like um, yeah, if we had to pick a place for this like database connection and like model setup to belong, it seems like our main GraphQL API might be like a more
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
appropriate place.
Yeah, if I'm being
Like if
perfectly honest, I don't love this. I
mm,
wish there was a way to specify files as not functions.
yeah, yeah. Okay, well here's another wrinkle. Um,
Ooh,
like the Lambda or Netlify's like the way that they handle lambdas are it looks for this handler export. So I
right.
wonder what happens.
If we
Let's
don't
just
have
see.
one.
If we don't have a handler, does that treat it as not a function? So like if we say utils.js and we put our Sequelize stuff in there. Oh, let me try that again. Okay, cool. Um, so now we have utils, and now
It says functions
we
utils
can.
modified, but that doesn't mean anything.
Hmm. Let's see. So now let's just import Sequelize and user from utils. Oh, I'm look at this. I'm mixing require and import
Wow.
syntax in the same line. Have you
I
ever
do
done
that
that
all the
before?
time. Oh yeah. Or
Yeah.
I'll like I'll require properly, but then I'll try and do like a module syntax export, you know?
Uh-huh. Yep. Mix and match.
Yep.
All right. So now in our GraphQL server, this will be from utils. Let's see if this works. You know, it's so funny. Okay, well, let's first see. Does it? Oh, cool.
Seem to work.
Seem to work. Like, it's so funny. Like, what I was gonna say is that some of the mythology that we have about Lambda functions,
Wrong.
or like, yeah, they're wrong, or they're just completely unfounded. Like,
Yeah.
I think my understanding is that anything in this functions directory has to be a function, and if it doesn't have an export handler, then we're like wrong somehow.
Yeah.
But maybe it's just like
But is
not
this
as strict
deploying
as
a
I thought.
function? So the next thing we need to do is try to call it and see if it like errors.
Yeah. So yeah, you could go to
That's what I'm doing.
um, .netlify/functions/utils in your local host, and you'll see what happens.
Netlify slash functions slash utils.
Yeah.
Function not found.
Okay. So now, what happens if you just replace utils with ASDF or whatever?
Well, that's what I'm doing. Okay,
Same
we encountered
response.
an error, so auth works and function not found.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Great. So I think then that kind of proves our
Our point
theory
that
that there's nothing wrong after all with having a utils function
so,
or a utils file within our functions directory. As long as it doesn't have a handler export, it won't be treated as
which is
a
amazing,
serverless function.
which is cool.
Yeah.
That's super cool. And second of all, I think like for me personally, because of that, that could be confusing for someone coming in. But I guess once you
Mm,
are familiar with it, you would know. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's still super cool, and I love it. So that means we can do it. But I'm curious to know, like, would it work with files outside of functions? Like, is that a lie too? Is our whole life a lie?
Do you want to try it?
Yeah, let's try it.
All right. I'm just gonna move utils into the source or into the repo root.
Yeah.
Tell me when that happens for you.
It should be
Oh,
moved. It looks like
looks
it's
like it
moved.
happened.
Yeah, it moved.
Cool. And then we'll just have to change our
Yeah.
imports or our requires rather in our GraphQL and auth functions to dot slash utils rather than dot slash, and let's see what happens.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, we didn't get our console log. Was that still in there?
Oh, I just removed it. um,
But it loaded.
let me put that back.
I mean, it seems to be working. We can actually go check the app.
I think it's working. Like, yeah, exactly. And I just put the console log back,
Oh my
and it does
goodness.
work. So
My whole
that's pretty
life
great.
is a lie.
That I think that's a little bit better. Like that I think we can both agree that that type of organization feels better than the utils within the functions directory, right?
Oh, 100%, which is exactly why I wanted to check it because if
Yeah,
we can get that out of there, now our functions directory is functions, which like is very
beautiful.
clear, very obvious.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm looking at this utils.js, and I'm just wondering what you think about this. Like we have it at the root of our repo. It's called utils. It's utils in this context doesn't isn't like
Nope. Yeah, it
as
doesn't make
descriptive
sense.
of a name as I'd want. What kind of other names do you normally like to name this kind of
Something
file?
like this because it's dealing with a database like DB or, some kind of like,
I'm down with DB.
models, yeah, whatever, something like that.
I've
Yeah.
seen both of those. I've seen like models and DB before, but yeah, the first thing that jumped to my mind was DB, just because it's like this file describes everything related to our database.
Yes. Yep.
Cool.
That's generally what I do. I like to stay within the bumpers, like if development was bowling, I would have the bumpers extended. I don't like to get too far out, so I try to stick with like whatever, the majority are doing in most cases, right? Of course, like,
Yeah.
we gotta be willing to change. But yeah, when it comes to like naming conventions and styling and all that
Hmm.
stuff, I always prefer to go with the majority because it's just
Yeah.
the least friction, and I don't personally care.
Yeah, I think I agree completely with that. And especially within the context of a web development stream, I think that the thing that we prioritize most here um, is like communicating ideas that everybody can
Yes.
understand as easily as possible. So
Yes.
introducing new conventions just like muddies the waters. So I think it's a good idea to just um, yeah, try to like speak the most common language possible.
Yeah. This is awesome. So now we've got this here and we've got our server. So correct me if I'm wrong, but we probably want to instantiate our DB and then attach that to the context of our um, GraphQL server, right? Is that
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great way to go about it because as we figured out in our auth um, in our auth function before, what we want to do at the beginning, well, when we fire off a function, is first authenticate with our DB, and then after this line resolves, um, we can then start interacting with our DB models.
yeah.
And one thing that I'm wondering is, uh, is it true that we must authenticate uh, like explicitly in this way? Or in other words, um, when if we call user.find1, if we haven't called Sequelize authenticate yet, does it throw or does it does it check for this kind of thing? Like, is that part of the the promise process
Of
for
Sequelize. If
of like
I'm
user
not
find
like
one?
connected and authenticated, will it do that for you under the hood? Essentially, is what you're asking.
That's what I'm wondering. Yeah.
I mean, there's only one real way to find out. So my next question becomes this, because we're dealing with Lambda functions.
Yeah.
Well, we want to await because we want to make sure the handler doesn't do what it does until that's authenticated. Never mind. I was gonna say like because while the function is hot, anything that we declare within this file, even if it's outside of the handler, would stick around. So I was thinking we could shave some milliseconds if we were to instantiate Sequelize outside of the handler, because then as long as this container is around with our function running, once the handler fired, we wouldn't have to re-authenticate every time.
Hmm. I think that's
Another.
that's essentially what we're doing though. Like the Sequelize variable that we get from our DB file
Oh, that's very true.
is like a Sequelize instance.
Yeah. So it should return instantly if it's already authenticated, essentially, is what we're saying.
It should. What I'm wondering, let's test this out real quick. If we remove
Okay.
this line of code
What
and
happens?
yeah, chat, you're gonna have to ignore all this commented out stuff. Maybe actually what we can do is just to
Just
clean
delete
this
it.
up,
Yeah.
we can just delete it, or we can move this out here because ultimately this is
Oh, we still
our
need
or
that.
this right here is our create user
Yeah, we still need
um,
that. Yeah.
code. Maybe I'll do something like this to do implement create user someday. Okay,
Someday. Yeah.
so
Okay.
now let's see what happens if we try logging in. It's test at the worst.dev and password is password.
Yes.
Okay,
And what happened for you?
I'm in.
And I turned off autofill, and yet here we are in an autofill world.
So strange. I wonder what the problem is there. Login
I
form.
also wonder, but it's very annoying. Yeah, so that works. I logged in.
Nice. Um, where did you turn off autofill?
In under settings. So,
Oh, in your Chrome, you mean?
oh, in Chrome, yeah.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, I like
Um,
literally turned off all the properties under autofill.
strange.
Oh, automatically sign in to websites. Oop, turn that off. That's probably
Okay.
it.
I mean, yeah, yeah, true. I guess right now
No,
we
it's
wouldn't want
not.
to
Look at
turn it
this.
off.
It's still there. Okay, whatever.
Wow,
Sorry.
you're persistent, Chrome.
Yeah,
Damn.
Jesus. All right. Yeah, enough of that. What are we doing now?
Well, I was just saying, I was just wanted to point out that this simplifies our like what we need to do with regards to like making our GraphQL endpoints ready for use with our
Yeah,
DB. Like
yeah,
we don't need to necessarily need to pass anything as context or do any extra like instantiation. Um, it doesn't seem right. Like we can just start calling listing dot create.
yes.
That's what this would imply.
Yeah, I think so. But we don't have a model for a listing yet. So, like, that doesn't exist in our world in the database.
True, true. So, yeah, we're gonna have to create that then.
Yeah, yeah, we certainly will. So, I guess we'd do that in DB, right?
Yeah, so let's do that. We create a new model for listing,
Am I
and
not
then
following it? Yeah,
um,
there we go.
and then to actually create that listing or create that table in our DB,
We'll have
it
to
just means
sync.
yeah, you got it.
Um,
All right, let's do this. I'm gonna follow you.
okay, cool. So, model name, listing. So, for listing, we have a title, we
Hmm.
have a description. Oops. We
Hmm.
have a URL. Um, let's go look at our type.
Yeah, I like that. I like that idea.
Yeah, me
We can
too.
just grab the type and then like
Yeah.
substitute GraphQL types for Sequelize types.
Well, company, this is going to have its own table, or is it going to be JSON? No, yeah, it needs to have its own table because we want to draw those, like, list
Hmm.
companies and have all that. So I think this, I'm not sure how that works in the Sequelize world, but I
Yeah,
imagine it would
we'll
be,
create an
com-
association actually.
yeah,
So we can leave this out for right now, and let's not even like worry about companies for the time being.
I agree. But this is enough.
Yeah, I think so. I would make two adjustments here. So right now, this sequelized string type will create columns of the type varchar, and it'll be like
Uh,
a
yeah,
variable character, 255 of a length 255. But
yeah.
for description and notes, I
We
think
need
that we want
longer.
those to be open-ended. So we use sequelized text there instead of
Cool.
sequelized string.
And then URL does not have a specific type, right? And then how do we mark these as required fields? That happens differently, right? That's a different property.
The way that you would do that is actually like you would break out rather than just defining the column as a sequelized
A
type, you
type.
could break it out into an object and you'd say like it'd be I don't know if the word is type here, but it'd be like
Gotcha.
type uh,
Required.
require true, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it would
Cool.
be this would be kind of like the format, um, but yeah, it's like my opinion on this is kind of like on one hand maybe it's nice to have your sequelized types mapped to your GraphQL types exactly, but then on the other, the your GraphQL schema is already like doing that work.
I see what you're saying.
Um,
So we could be looser here, which allows room for more functionality, essentially.
I guess so. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe my like reasoning behind this isn't too solid,
Well,
but
no, I mean, I
like
don't
I think.
disagree. Like, I generally don't think you want a direct mapping between your database and your schema. Like, I think that's
Mhm.
generally a huge anti-pattern.
Okay.
I was just saying it because, like, our example set is so small, and
Yeah.
URL is something that we have as, like, required, you know?
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
I
I
was
would
just
just say
curious
that.
about that.
Yeah, I guess maybe like the motivation comes from a maintainability standpoint too. Like,
Yeah.
if we make some schema decision, and especially for a project that's this new, we're likely to be changing our schema from
Hmm.
time to time and like
Oh, yeah.
figuring out what schema shape works. And if we're too like every schema change could mean a database column change as well, in order for the two to remain in sync. So making the database requirement like or nullability um, characteristics like completely loose means that we can iterate on the schema freely without having to like propagate those changes to the database every time we make a
Yeah, I
change
like
like that.
that. Okay. Very cool. All
Right
right.
on.
Yeah, okay. So in that case, we keep it as is. Let's stay loosey goosey with it. I like it. Okay, so what's
Oh, cool.
next?
The last thing that
Ooh,
we need to do is just export this listing.
yeah.
Yes, sir. You got it. And
Oops.
then that should be pretty good.
Okay, so that's gonna get us where we need to go for now. And
Hmm.
then in here, what we need to do though, or somewhere, we
We'll
need
just need to call
to,
Sequelize sync.
yeah. And I guess we could do this in here for now.
Yeah.
Like, and then we run it once, and then we don't.
Yep.
Will this work?
I think that'll work.
Well, that's what we're gonna do.
Um, so Sequelize sync returns a promise,
Ah,
but
right.
doesn't mean that you necessarily need to like you don't need to handle the promise unless you specifically want to do something in response to it. If you just call a function that returns a promise, the thing will still execute. Um, although, what I'm wondering is that true for Lambda functions?
I don't
I
know.
think
That's what I'm
I
wondering.
think let's check it out. What we can
So should
do.
I await it? Can we? You can't do top level await yet, right?
Oh, but I feel like this will work. I
All
think that
right. Yeah, let's try it.
what I said is still true. Um, so let's do that. We'll run it. We'll cause it to run once just by refreshing the page. It'll you know invoke our GraphQL function again. Sequelize sync will be called.
Oh, I gotta
And
log in first, otherwise it won't.
oh, for sure, for sure.
Well, this thing keeps autofilling for me. It's driving me
If
nuts.
only if it would be pretty handy if it autofilled the correct thing. You
That
know,
would be
like
amazing.
it's only tragic because it's putting in the wrong thing.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm in.
Okay,
I'm
so
in.
now, so check this out. The If you look back in our
Yeah, oh yeah.
console output, you expand
Executing.
that. Yeah, you'll see a couple lines that are important here. There's this create table if not exists users and create table if not exists listings, and that is Sequelize sync being run. One of the things that sync does for us is it creates tables for models that we've created if those tables haven't already been created for us. So it
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily overwrite existing data, but it just it makes those tables available to us if they're not already. And
Cool.
so now that that's done, we can pretty much count on this listings table existing, and
So we can
in
get rid of
fact,
this.
get rid of that one. And I think
Let's
maybe
do.
a good test of it. Yeah, dude, we're look at us, we're in sync here.
Yeah, totally. Oh wait, but we have to bring in listing.
Yeah.
I'm doing this all wrong. I was like about to be like DB. Oh, will this affect us with our type listing? No, that's inside of the type defs. That's not the same.
Yeah, we
So
should
we
be all
do
right.
listing dot. I forget what it is.
We could just say
Um,
like find all,
that's it. Find all.
and we probably want to
But we want
pass it
to.
aware.
I'm sorry.
We want to pass it like a where option. Although
Oh,
right
a
now
where clause. I mean, right now
that's
technically we don't,
yeah, yeah, true, true.
but soon we'll want where the user ID matches, like the logged in user ID. Right? Is that where you're getting at there?
Yep, yep.
All right, cool.
But I
All
think you're
right,
right. For right now, we just want to. We're expecting this to be an empty array anyway.
right.
So that's all good.
And so, and there we go. But this time, you see how it wasn't immediate because we're not. It's not an empty array. We actually got the loader.
Yeah.
Because the DB did a check and came back with an empty array. So this is
Uh-huh.
working. So next, let's get this going.
All right.
Is it listing.create, right?
You got it.
And then, I mean, in theory, we would want to do more checks, but can I also just say params? Or am I crazy?
Yeah. Well, let's see what the shape of params is for. How do we define this the args for
Well, if
this?
we go up, we have an input type for it. We have a create listing input, which has title, description, URL, and notes. Oh, we
Perfect.
need an
That's
ID. Yeah, but oh no, it will
uh,
create one for us.
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. We're good.
So we're
Um,
good.
so I think that all we need to do is pass then params dot input,
Oh,
and we should be
good catch.
off
I
to the
always
races.
forget that. Bob's your uncle. Or we can do this
Yes, sir.
input
I like
if we
that.
want to be real clean.
Hmm.
And since we're not using context, goodbye. How do we
Cool.
feel about this?
I dig it.
But we're not done because listing.create itself does not return the model, or
It
it
will.
does.
Oh, it does. I think we're good to go. Let's run it and see if
I
we
mean,
missed
let's find
anything.
out. Yeah, let's see
Yeah.
what happens. Okay. All right. So, I mean, to run this, well, first of all, I'm just going to be like, boop. Um, all right. So, let's see. We need jobs. We need jobs. Didn't we have like the
Don't we
careers?
all?
Oh, that's the docs. Yeah, don't we all? We all do need jobs. Um, all right. Why does that keep happening to me?
Oh no, is that happening again?
Let's find out. I think it might
It
just.
should be
Oh, it
fixed. I
is.
think you probably have a cached version of
Yeah. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
website. So this was happening yesterday and the day before, and it was I actually posted in our team chat in Slack about a response that I got from Netlify about this. But if you open up in an incognito browser, it should You should see it now.
And later
Let's
I'll
test.
clear out my. Oh nope,
Damn
incognito
it,
took
dude.
me there too. It's happening
All
again,
right.
dude. What are
Well,
they doing? Okay.
it
All
should
right.
like okay. Not to get too panicked here, but if
It
we
could be
go
service worker.
Control I
Oh, but that wouldn't matter. Incognito.
follow GraphQL.com. Um,
Yeah, we're not gonna. I'm not gonna do what
page
everyone thinks I'm
and
gonna
copy
do.
to blah, blah. Yeah, so it is the it's a weird thing. Like your browser caches your HTTP responses, and
Yeah.
it's cached the 301 that this site
Was
resolved
there
to like just
accidentally?
yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super
Yeah.
frustrating. But in any case, if you just go to apollographql.com/careers,
Oh, right.
you should be able to get in there. How embarrassing, you guys.
Yeah. Well, what can you do? You know, it's the internet.
Yeah, I hate to say use a cop out like it wasn't me, but in this case I've got to invoke Shaggy.
Yes, it wasn't
It
me.
wasn't me.
Cache redirects in the browser. It wasn't me. All right. Sorry. I apologize. Invoke Shaggy. Yes. Uh, that's amazing. All right. All right. Let's see here. All right. So we got a job listing. We got one.
All right,
So I
let's
want to go
let's
back
rate this.
and remember we're generating titles. That's a heck of a URL there. We're generating titles on our own. So should I just create the listing without a title? I'm gonna put one.
Yeah, put one.
I hate spelling architect. Feel like I never get it right. Okay, so we're good. This is all we
Yeah,
need.
it's like
I'm gonna
where do I
send it.
put the H?
Yeah, let's
Yeah, dude,
send it.
send it. Insert into listing.
Oh,
And all right, there we go. And we click it, and it takes us to the right place.
boom, boom.
Oh,
Uh,
beautiful.
uh, uh, uh,
All right, cool.
Okay.
So that worked. That's our first link in our chain connected, basically.
Yeah, that's sweet.
We're trying to
All
we're
right,
trying to
I
build
like
a fence
this.
here.
Yeah, yeah, nice. Speaking of, I'm getting a fence soon. I can't
Oh,
wait.
nice. What kind?
Yeah. We don't know yet. It all depends on that money. We gotta see how much it's gonna cost. Figure out like
Yeah.
how many feet of fencing we need, and then do the math
Are we
based on the
thinking
price.
wooden fence or chain link fence?
I mean, ideally we'd like to do vinyl. We imagine that will be a bit out of our price range, and at which point we'll fall back to wooden. Worst
What
case,
does
we're
the
like we
vinyl
do.
fence look like? Is it just kind of like
Uh,
vinyl? Go ahead, sorry.
no, yeah, just basically it's vinyl shaped like a fence. I don't, it has like posts and stuff and like
Okay.
sections, but they make different types, but generally it's like a solid wall. Um, but yeah, we'll do chain link like if we have to. Like,
Hmm.
we don't really care, but it'd be nice to have the vinyl.
Cool. Build that
Yeah,
wall. Build that wall.
yeah, that one, the one in my backyard. No other
Yeah.
walls. Yeah.
Seriously. That's
All
the
right.
only one that matters.
Yeah. So I just like, wow, that was easy. I wish I had a Staples button right now.
Seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, and then
Um,
like,
cool.
yeah, so what's next? What do you want to do next?
I think that next we should start associating listings with users. That
Oh,
would be a
yes.
really,
Yeah,
really easy
that's
next thing
right.
to do. And um, since in our DB file we already have a listing type and a user type, or like a
We
listing
can do that
model and a
association.
user model, we can make the association. The and like the listing table um, should get the new URL or user ID column, and things should just work.
Ooh.
That's funny, Max.
Okay.
Yeah, that is the other a good type of fencing as well. I
Oh,
wish we were I wish
my
we were talking about
goodness.
dueling, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. We'll have to do a special episode where we fence one day.
Yeah, dude, you could make a live stream where you're fencing while you're fencing.
Ooh,
You
that's
know?
trippy. Meta, so meta.
Yeah. Okay. So, let's see here. So, why don't we open up the Sequelize docs and just see, because we're using the new like Sequelize v5 method of creating our models, and I'm wondering if the association API is still the same or if they changed that as well.
So we're going to sequelize, right?
Yeah.
Sequelize, sequelize. Oh, Joris Parla? Yeah. Yeah, Joris Sparla? Joris Sparla, more likely. Thank you for following. We appreciate it.
hmm
Do you think I got that right?
Tough to tell.
I
Joris,
know.
Parla,
Joris Parla or Joris Sparla?
or it's like maybe it's like Joris, like there's a missing
Uh,
apostrophe there.
hmm.
It's a
That's
possessive.
interesting.
Joris Sparla. What's a Sparla though?
Yeah.
Guess we'll never know.
Unless they tell us.
hmm
All right. Sequelize now follows Semvert. Well, that's cool. All right. What do we want to do? Associations. Boom. Look at that. Associations. Let me blow this up a little bit. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that good? Yeah, that's good. It should be legible. Okay. User. Oh, that's right. That's right. Has one. Has
Great.
many.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
looks like
that's
the
right.
association API is the same as I remember it.
Same. Yep. Yep.
Cool.
Oof, man. The weather has been bad, and let me tell you a story about my right knee pain. It's
Okay, let's hear it.
astronomical. That's the whole story. It's like it's really hard to move my leg. Every time I move it, it hurts.
Mhm. Where do you put do you just have your are you standing right now? And if
I'm
not, where
not
do you
standing now. I was standing earlier, but yeah.
Okay. What do you do with your legs when you're sitting at your desk?
It depends. I mean, normally they're either like out in front of me or sitting at a decent height and they're like straight down, heels planted on the ground.
hmm
Um, it depends.
Okay. I have like a subwoofer underneath my desk, and
Uh-huh.
I've for years just been using it as like a footrest. I have my
Oh, that's
headphones in and I
genius.
use my subwoofer as a footrest. So a lot of the time I
That's
have like right now,
hilarious.
I've got my feet like propped up on my subwoofer. Max
Yeah.
comfort, you know?
That's awesome. Well, I do have my feet like propped a little bit on this mat that I use when I'm standing, so like the edge
hmm
of it, but it's only like a couple inches.
Did you ever
Um,
use those balance boards or any of those things?
I have tried them, and yeah, I used them when I was younger. I was never like super great at them. I'm not going to be like doing backflips on them, but yeah, I used to use them and balance on
hmm
them. Back in my skating days, we used to have them around the
Cool.
house. Yeah, my
hmm
friends would do like kick flips on them and stuff like that. I like
Holy,
would
that's
never do all
crazy.
that.
I
Yeah.
remember like they were pretty popular among one of the offices that I used to work at.
Yeah.
Like every third desk had some kind of like balance board
Thing.
or balance ball
Yeah.
or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
MLS?
yeah. Huh?
At MLS?
At MLS, what
Yeah.
what was the?
Oh, what were balance boards popular there? I mean.
Oh, no, not really.
Okay.
No, the only experience I've had with those really was like when I was a lot younger. And then sometimes we wouldn't use like the regular board that came with it. We just use like a skate deck, no trucks or wheels.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, apologies for the tangent, chat.
Oh yeah, sorry about that, but
We're
yeah,
back on it, but yeah, I had to ask, man. I was
yeah,
dying
yeah,
to.
yeah, yeah, no problem. So let's see. So we've got listing. Oops. That has one uh, user,
hmm
and a user has many listing.
Yep,
Correct?
that is true. What I'll
Uh
suggest
oh.
actually is instead of has one, like we have our has many and like and has one associations, but there's also a belongs to
Oh, I
and a
always forget
belongs to
about.
many. So
Yeah.
typically the way that you want to I mean, depends on the association, but for most of these kind of like simple ownership style associations, you're gonna have a combination of a has association and a belongs association. Um, so this would be like the the way I describe this.
Well, so what's the difference between has one and belongs to?
So the has the model that calls the has part of the association API will
Is
have
generally.
a it means that they should have a foreign key column added to their table.
Oh,
And
right.
the belongs side of the equation, those models remain uh, untouched, but like Sequelize facilitates kind of like the plumbing between the parent and the child, if you will, or like
So
the
user will not have like a field added to it about
yeah.
listings,
So yeah,
but a listing will
has
have a user ID.
you got it. Yep.
Huh.
That's yeah. That's pretty much it.
That was
Now
interesting. That's a great lesson right there.
yeah. Um. So now that we've done this, we were touching on how SQLize Sync works a moment ago, and talking about how it will create tables for models if those tables don't already exist. It doesn't. It won't. It won't. In our case here, like it won't add a user ID table to an existing one. I think the SQLize probably just errs on the side of caution when it comes to
Right.
these things, and it doesn't want to like f your data up. But it means that we need to actually like drop our listings table in in our render database so that the next time we call Sequelize sync, we'll get a new table with the user
With
ID.
the right. And that's fine. And so then we'll lose the one, but like who cares, right? The
Yeah,
one listing we created because we'll just
there
get a new
there's
one.
yeah, man. This project is going to require many sacrifices.
Oh yeah.
What's one listing entry? Um,
Compared to the, millions we can have in the future associated to a
yeah,
user.
kill one to save many. That kind of mentality.
Okay. This is the trolley problem, right? The philosophy, the
Yes,
trolley
exactly.
problem. All right.
There's
Okay.
one listing. There's one listing entry laying down in the tracks in front of the trolley you're on.
If you stay on course, you'll kill it, but all the other listings are safe. That's so funny. All right. So how do we drop this bad boy? We go back to GraphQL, and just like
Well,
we called. Oh,
we
sorry.
could.
What were you saying?
What I'm wondering is if we have
Uh huh. Uh huh.
the ability to administrate our database from render.com.
Oh, I'm sure we do.
Like, can we just go into render and be like, yeah, delete that table,
I mean, I can't imagine. No. Let's
right?
find out. And if not, I could always install like what's that? The
Postico?
yeah. Yeah, like one of the like the database explorers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
no.
then,
So I don't from here I don't think this,
okay. Here's another option. Let's see. PSQL with database connection string.
Oh, and you just run it from the terminal?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping to be able to do, but I don't know exactly uh,
What's
how
the one
possible
with the
that is.
pancakes? What's that? SQL Pro, right? That's it. Yep,
Sure.
there it is.
Nice. That's a pretty snazzy logo right there, isn't it?
Oh, I love it. Yeah. I love breakfast food, and pancakes is one of my favorite foods. So, like, if you have a pancake in your logo, it's basically like, take my money. Yeah.
I know somebody who likes pancakes a lot too.
Do you? Yeah. It's like
Hmm.
my thing whenever I go to a new place, I always try and find, like, the best pancakes.
So, what's the best pancake you've ever eaten?
Where is Finder? The best pancake. Ooh, that's tough. No one's ever asked me that before. I wouldn't even know. New Finder window. Thank you. Um, hmm. You know what? I would say the best ones that I have had so far were in Madison, Wisconsin. I can't remember the name of the place, but they're like known for their pancakes. They were like the right amount of fluffiness. They had a good amount of flavor. They weren't too bland. You know, they were cooked well. The syrup was really good. So yeah, they were pretty good.
Okay. I have a follow-up question for you.
Ooh, okay.
That it's a very very contentious debate
Uh-oh.
in
Uh-oh.
it all over America. Denny's or IHOP?
Hmm. Is it safe to say neither?
I'll accept neither.
Yeah, neither. I don't love either of them, but I would probably pick IHOP just because I'm more familiar. I haven't had a ton of Denny's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair answer. Chat, what do you think? Denny's or
Yeah.
IHOP? Where do we land?
Okay, so for to do this connection, I think I have to. I don't know if I could do this. I was hoping I could use like the.
I think you got it. Oh, is this only MySQL?
Well, I thought no, SQL Pro does
Okay,
Postgres as
okay.
well, but I don't think they support this the
Connection string?
yeah connection string.
But they do in our render database admin panel. We do have like a I think they give us like a username and a password and all that stuff.
Yeah,
We,
they do, but this is
so we
from
could
like
probably use that.
internal.
I
So
see.
this is
Yeah,
if you have other services running on render, this is how you would access this database from those services on render. Does that make sense?
I see. Yep.
And then we have an external connection string for connecting from outside of the cluster.
hmm Okay, let's see. Um,
So I'm gonna abandon that. I'm not gonna spend any more time. Like I just want to
mhm.
see Postgres Explorer. I can't spell Explorer Mac connection string. PG admin handling
Sure.
issues. This looks like
Um,
it might be.
here's one. Here's one other
We could just do it in
potential.
code, and I can
Yeah.
not
Well,
do this
here's
anymore.
what I'm wondering is in. Let me see. Sync. Um, so what I've found just from browsing the Sequelize docs is that while the Sequelize like our Sequelize instance has a sync method on it,
Mm-hmm.
and we can call force to force it to create new tables or drop existing ones.
Yeah.
Models actually also have a sync method, and
Oh,
in that you can also pass force. So
okay.
rather
So
than
that's easy.
calling Sequelize sync, we can just call listing sync and pass a force
Yeah.
option, it turns out.
Yeah. So we could do that right from here, right?
Yeah, let's give it a try. I would just do it after um,
Right.
the associations.
Association. Yeah.
So we'll call
Like
sync
that.
and pass a force option to it to make sure that it
Oh,
that it
is it? Do
get
we just
gets the
pass true, or like it's an object and force is a property?
just like that, like you have it there.
Cool.
Force true.
All right.
And let's
Cool.
see how that works. So we should now see in our terminal output.
Listings relation listings does not exist.
Okay, that's fine
Yeah.
because that was probably um,
And there. Now we have no listings, and now it's fine.
great. So now we should have And it looks like we do. If you look at our terminal, the last command that was run was select ID, title, description, URL, notes, created at, updated at, and user ID from listings.
Yeah.
And that would indicate because this query executed successfully, it would mean that we do have a user ID column in our
Field.
listings table. So
Okay,
we can
so
start
then
associating our user IDs with or our users with their listings.
yeah, so the next thing that we want to do, correct me if I'm wrong. So let's go back into GraphQL. So when we create a listing, we're not going to do this right away because now what we have to do, well, how do we know the current user? We've attached that information to nothing yet, right? We're going to do that
Yeah,
now.
let's
That's
do it.
next. Yeah. All right, I'll let you steer for this a little bit. You want to
Let's
take
do it.
this?
Okay,
All
so
right.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to take advantage of context option that you can pass to an Apollo server instance or constructor rather, and context will be able to read something about the request and then attach additional JavaScript data, in our case, the currently logged in user, to all subsequent branches of our resolver tree. So what we'll do first is we're going to try to read the the
Header.
current user out of the authentication header, or
Right.
the authorization header rather, that we pass to it. And so it'll look something like this, where we want to first destructure. There's this event because we're using um,
Lambda.
a Lambda. Yeah, we're going to be reading our data from the Lambda's event object, and rather than in if this were a running the regular Apollo server, or you're running it using Express, you would be operating on the request.
Yeah.
But we got an event. So um, let's see. So our header would be something, or maybe what we call it is like token
Oh yeah. Token.
is event headers authorization, um, and the way that we're sending our token to our endpoint, if we just refer to the oh, is your desk standing up?
Yeah, I'm standing
Okay,
up. I can't take it anymore. My knee is like, oof.
no problem. Um, so in our Apollo client on the client side, let's see. I guess we're not currently sending the token to the server, so we're gonna have to
I
set
don't
that
think
up
we
too.
hooked that part up yet.
But essentially, like the format that we're gonna pass to the server. Actually, you know what? Let's just set that up. We need to set that up anyway. Um, so I'm gonna go through that right here, right now. Okay, so we currently have an HTTP link um, that tells our client where to send requests and what to use for its fetch implementation. So I'm just going to take that out and define that as its own variable. And then the next thing we want to do is create another link. We'll call it our auth link. And we can just create a new Apollo link instance. And I don't think I get auto imports because I don't know.
Because of the VS Code share, it doesn't seem to do
Yeah.
it. I wonder if I can bring up the menu. Yeah, so I can do it. I don't know if
Hmm.
it'll work for you. Control spacebar brings up like the
No,
actions.
I
Nope. Yeah.
control spacebar. Oh yeah, check
Yeah.
it out. I mean,
Oh, it
it's
worked?
working for me.
Okay,
Strange.
I can't see it on my side, but
Yeah, and
I
I
guess
can't
it's
see
working.
yours either.
That's funny.
Um, okay, so the the shape of our argument to Apollo link is just a function. And this function is going to take two arguments. It has an operation, operation, and this forward function. And so the operation is referring to, it's like an instance that refers to the current like GraphQL operation
Yeah.
in progress, and then forward is a function that we just call at the end of our link to like pass the operation on to the next link in the chain.
Got it.
So basically what we want to do is first grab our token out of local storage. So we'll say local storage. And what we're going to try to do here is take our token out of local storage and add it to, if we have a token, we add it to
Add the header.
the authorization header, and then we forward the operation on to the next link in the chain.
I like it.
So it's called get item with what's our token key again?
It should be scroll down a little bit. It should be right there in
Oh
our
yeah,
local resolver. Journey : token. Yeah,
got
good
it.
call.
Journey : token. And then we'll just say if we have a token, then we're going to call operation dot set context. And this allows us to do something like set headers on the request.
Right.
So we'll set an authorization header that just reads bearer.
Breader. Breader token.
And this
Excuse me.
this is a convention around using JSON Web Tokens.
It's all over the
Technically,
internet.
technically, I guess there's nothing inherently wrong with just saying authorization equals token, but
Some people do that. Yeah.
yeah, but I've become more familiar with this. I don't know how you feel.
Yes.
You're cool with that?
Uh, that's the standard. Some
Yeah,
people don't do that. Some people just pass the token. But like if you look up authorization header and like the standard is to have a bearer and then token.
yeah.
Yeah. Or
Okay,
best
cool. So
practice. I don't know if it's like a standard. I don't want to.
for
Yeah.
sure. Um, yeah, I'm not really sure. Like, I don't have a deep knowledge over what this convention is doing or like what what its purpose is. But I do know that it is a convention. So I just kind of I'm a sheep sometimes, guys. And like we
Yeah.
talked about at the beginning of the show, sometimes for especially for the purposes of creating content like this, it's important
Yeah.
to use conventions. Maybe I'll take it as some homework to spend a little time after stream and understand how this originated, what it means, because that
I
I'm
used
just
to know and I don't
curious. Oh,
remember
really?
because I feel like
Oh,
it's not
must
important
not have
because
been
I feel like
exciting.
it's not exciting. It's not important. And like pick your battles. I feel like the
True,
authorization header is not the place to like break the mold. You know what I mean?
for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've grabbed our token out of local storage. If we have a token, we set an authorization header, and then finally, we just forward. We just call forward with our operation,
And
and
that
this
should
is
do
what
the rest.
our auth link looks like. And
So there
now,
is, I just wanted to touch on this real quick. I believe Apollo
sure.
provides a set context function, like a pre-existing like link thing, and it instead of having to know about the operation and forward, it just gives you the context and then you return the context.
Oh, you don't say.
I
Um,
do say.
can we take a look at what that looks like? Is there like
Yeah.
a docs article on that or something?
Oh, set context. I want to believe it's called Apollo link context.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, here we go. Apollo link context. And so it's a package, you import it, and then instead of having to do, so it outputs a link. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing. Let me
No,
said,
I can see
oh,
in
on
the
the stream.
docs. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, and then so like here we could add the headers.
Oh, I see. Wow, that looks
Quest,
pretty
previous
nice.
context. Yeah.
Okay, so you just return an object that represents the new context.
That's what it looks like.
Cool.
And what's interesting though here is like I wish this example was a little more well formed because here they're not returning any of the previous context. Yeah,
I
so
see.
I
Yeah.
mean I think that kind of actually seems a little dangerous. And like they've just erased all the headers and just added one. I get it's a code example, but I'm
Mhm.
curious to know, is it going to add that? Like, is it doing a deep merge for us? Or
Right. I don't know.
to
It
set the new
doesn't necessarily say
context,
it,
it
right?
says. Yeah, it
Um,
just says new context.
well, one thing that I
We
want to
don't need
check
it.
out, I guess, just to get the full picture is if you go to the Apollo client docs, I think there's an article in there about the subject of authorization. And let's switch to the 3.0 docs just for fun.
Oh, oops. Yeah. And then we want API link.
Let's go to um, maybe under
Nope.
networking.
Huh.
Is
Boom.
there an article
Nailed
about
it.
authorization?
There is. Well, there's
Okay,
cookies,
or authentication.
header. So this example uses set context. I'll be damned. Here. See?
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, that's really good to know. So it looks like in this example, they are spreading in the headers from previous context.
Yeah.
And,
This could also use a PR2 though, because they forgot the import for set context.
ooh, dangerous. Is
Yeah.
set
I'm editing on GitHub. Set safe.
nice. I love it. Well, what I'm wondering is set context exported by Apollo client?
Oh, well, that's another question. Because maybe in V3 it is, but it's still not in the import list.
Hmm. Well, what I'm wondering, yeah, I'm looking at Apollo client right now to try to figure this out. Um, link. Uh, uh,
And like I can just take a note for later too. So
well,
I'm not hold this
I'd
up.
like to figure this out.
Oh, I'd like
Um,
to figure it out, but I meant as far as like I might not make the update right now.
mhm, mhm. So I don't even know how I'd tell where set context. Oh, here we go. So an operation, yeah, it doesn't look like there's any instance of set context being exported by
I don't think
Apollo
so.
client.
Yeah.
Like if and the test that I used is just kind of like um, if you start typing one of the exported modules in your import statement, VS Code will
Yeah.
start auto completing for you and like telling
Yeah.
you a bit about those modules. But if I search for set context, um, I don't get anything
Nothing.
for it. Yeah. Do you?
Oh, I do. Set context.
Okay, but this is just the like it's not saying that it's an actual module, is it?
Well, I mean, well that's oh, did you already type out set context? Oh, you're right. Like it's not from here. Yeah.
If you type out like yeah, so like store object or select URI or any of these modules, they have
Yeah,
some like
yeah.
about them.
Yeah, this is just an ABC, like so it just found it somewhere else in the file. I guess
Hmm
because we typed
Because we're
it.
calling it, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's the other set. That's this set context.
Yeah.
Got it.
Um,
Okay.
so that doc, that code
Does
example
need some.
does need work for sure.
Yeah.
Let me just see. Um,
In
where
the
did I get my
meantime,
see? Where did I get my implementation from? I'm looking at this. I'm trying to find this now. Like, where did I get that idea
the
from?
V2. Did you look at? Or well, I think set context is better. I mean, but that does work. What you did is the exact same thing. It's just like creating your own like raw link, right? Like you're doing. It's
Huh.
just the other one is abstracting some of that away from you, so you can just set context.
Right. Okay, I found the place
where it lives.
where this happens. Yeah, so if you go to networking and then advanced HTTP networking, and you just scroll down to the first header, customizing request logic. This is where I learned this particular
Sorry. So where
strategy
do I go?
from. To networking and then basic advanced HTTP networking in the
Ah,
left.
gotcha. Oh, here we go. Auth middleware right there.
So maybe
That's funny.
this is something that we can take over to our team and be like, we need
Hmm.
to like refine our how we're teaching auth middleware, because it's like in one article we teach this method, and then in the very next one we teach a different one,
Yeah.
and they're both basically doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Okay.
we have in any case we have an auth link now,
Yeah, and it
and
works. So let's not change it, right? Let's just keep
sure.
it.
But still in our Apollo client instance, we're specifying just our HTTP link as our link option. So instead, we
Yeah.
can just say authlink.concat, I believe, and then call HTTP link. And now those two links will essentially
Be
be
joined.
joined. Yeah, one
So,
will add information to the context before the other one does its thing.
yeah. And it's kind of like Voltron. It's like you build all the pieces together
Exactly.
to form your final link.
Hmm.
It's exactly
Right
like
now,
Voltron.
HTTP is like the head,
Yes.
and Authlink is maybe like the left arm.
Yeah, like one arm. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Raw. I
So
love
we're
that
like
show.
we're a fat fraction of Voltron right now, but we're getting there. Now I'm
Oh
gonna just
yeah.
hop back. Now that we're doing this, I can hop back to our GraphQL API
Yeah.
and extract the token from the auth header by saying something like,
Where'd you
we'll look
go?
for
There you are.
on the event, in the headers object, we'll look for the authorization header and just replace. I'm going to find and replace bearer with like bearer and then a space, or we can even say like bearer and um, like an
Any
empty space,
spaces. Yeah.
as many more than one space,
Could you
and we'll
split
just
on a
say.
space? Well, no, because what if there's multiple spaces?
Mhm. I think this pretty much does it
This
for us. Like,
covers much. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
uh,
Okay. Cool.
yeah, I mean, and this will grab
So
the token, but what if, um, well, what if there is no token applied and authorization header or the authorization is
it's
undefined?
undefined. We can do this? There you go.
Oh my
Oh wait, no, we
gosh,
can't because it's
what
the
will that even
server.
do?
It's the server. Well, that's optional
Yeah,
chaining,
you're right. You're right. You're right.
which would work in the client, but will
Hmm.
not work here.
Okay, here's another option. We can do something like this. There's a lot of cases where we want this to fail, and we just want to respond to the client with with an authentication error.
Yeah,
What we can do is say something like, "We're just going to
try.
try,"
Because
and
if it
then
errors,
everything else cache.
we'll cache the error
Yep.
for every other user.
Authentication.
I'll auto import it once it's done. Yeah,
All right.
unauthorized. And so if I come here and hit Control Spacebar, and we have where's authentication error? Oh, of course it's not showing up.
Darn it.
What is going on? But anyway, that's imported from. Oh, is that even in Apollo Server Lambda?
It
Is
is,
that
yeah.
in there? Okay.
Should be. I'm just gonna throw it up there. Boom.
Yeah, we'll see. Woo woo.
Ready to rock. Okay, now,
Ready to
yeah. So this
rock.
is like
Uh,
a pretty. I think this will do the trick. Another option that comes to mind is we could say something like, we could look for,
matches. Yeah.
like we could um, try to match let's see, like authorization, we'd say like match with regex like bearer, and then a space, and then we just say like something that's not a space
Pull that one out. Yeah.
and has
Yeah,
multiple
yeah.
lines.
The other
Um,
thing that we can do, hear me
yeah,
out, is
let's
we
hear
can
you out.
say const token equals event dot headers authorization split,
Ooh,
like I was saying, but instead of using just a space, because you can also use a regex for that, we can do um, split on a group of spacing
uh-huh.
and one. And that should
Ooh,
also
cool.
return us our
You're right.
token.
You're right. Sweet, dude. I think we got three solid options here. Um,
Let's get rid of the second two and just keep the first one. Boom.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
That should work. That should work.
It should work. I think it's fine. I think it's as stable or brittle as the other two options. So like let's
And
just
then,
roll with it.
yeah, absolutely. And the beautiful part about it all is that if it doesn't like whether or not this gives us a valid token will be determined in the next step, where we want to call jwt.verify. So I'm just going to go back to the top and import, or not import, but require
Const.
jwt equals JSON web token. So a few episodes ago, when we were implementing our auth function,
Yeah.
we used the JWT library to where are we here? We signed a new token, and in that token we have an ID and an email, and
Yep.
we signed it using this JWT secret environment variable. So in our GraphQL API, when we want to check the validity of that token, we can say token and then pass that JWT environment variable,
Yep.
and the result will be we'll call it decoded.
Yeah, I like
Or
that. That's what I always code it. Call it. Is JWT verify async?
no, I don't think it is. Let's
Okay.
see. Um,
Might not be. I'm
yeah,
just
so in its TypeScript signature, it just says that it returns a string
boom.
or an object.
Yeah, yeah. Object is what we'll get because it'll have all the stuff on it, right?
Yeah. So the object that it returns is the decoded token.
Yep.
Why don't we just go to uh, it's too bad that the type is just object and not like a actual shape of the decoded token.
Yeah. So
But
we want to
pretty
go to
sure.
the docs
Yeah, let's check the docs just to make sure we know what we're getting. If you just go to like the npm module
on
page
it.
for this, should be able to
On
find
it.
it.
It's JSON web token, right? That's the one we're using. Yeah.
You got it.
Usage. Let's go. Where's verify? Sign, 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 sign. I could probably search for
Everywhere a
verify.
sign.
Everywhere sign. Ow. My stinking knee. Okay. Yeah, it's not like telling me. It just shows, yeah, it gives you back an object. There's
Okay.
also decode without, oh no, without verification. No, we don't want
Yeah.
that.
All right, let's just go with
Okay. Oh,
this.
that's right. So you have decoded header, then you have the payload.
Is that the same for verify?
I don't know.
Oh, here we go. Let's see. Let's see. Oh,
Did you find it? Because I did not see it.
I think you just passed it.
Oh, that's for error.
Oh, I see. No, no, but
Yeah.
just before there.
Here.
Why don't we just go back up to the original verify
Yeah.
thing? See if we
It's
can
this.
pin this down. So yeah, they show you
Foo
decoded.
and bar. Thanks.
Amazing. Okay, we're just gonna look for decoded.id then.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Okay,
Well,
great.
I guess maybe they'll show us what they put in foo. I don't. Oh, okay. Yeah. See. So
All
it
right,
should just be ID and
perfect.
Email. Yeah.
So knowing that, we can now look for a user
Knowing
in
what
our
we know
database.
now.
We can look for a user that has the ID that was encoded in the token, and then try to return that user. And
Yeah.
if that user exists, we'll add it to our Apollo server context. And if it doesn't, we'll just throw an error.
I love it.
So it'll look something like this. Const user is now equal to await user dot find by pk is the method name, find by primary key. We'll pass
Ah,
in
I did not
coded
know
dot
that.
id. This used to be
Cool.
find by ID, but they
Right, but
recently
then
changed
if you
it to
changed it,
find by
yeah, that
pk.
which makes sense because if your primary key is not the ID, then like I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then because we're using await here, we have to make sure that we tack on async to our context.
Async.
And
Hey,
then
we got a sync
just say if there's no user with that PK, then we can say throw new error,
because that's not right.
something like that. And then
Yeah,
what this will effectively do is it'll be caught by this catch block, and
which will give
it'll
us
return.
unauthorized.
Yes, sir.
I love it. That's clever.
And then the last thing we'll do is just return an object as the request context with our user
Okay,
within it.
so now this I had this question as well before too. Are we
Uh-huh.
resetting the entire context with just the user? Does this function attach to the existing context? Because if we don't get the rest of the properties, what happens to our context?
Yeah, like right now we don't have anything else running through our Apollo server context.
Right?
So this is fine. Like
Well,
we're not
okay. But in a
yeah.
case, let's just say like where maybe you wanted access to something off the event or something like that, this is a
Mhm.
whole new context. You would have to reset.
Exactly.
You would have to
If you wanted
reattach the
anything
event.
from there, yeah, you'd say like something like this.
Got it. Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure
Yep.
because it could be unclear.
Yeah, no,
So
it's a
you
good
might think
question.
like it's being added to the context instead. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're returning a custom context here.
Yeah. I like it.
So now we have a user associated with every request. So we can change the way that these two resolvers behave.
Mm-hmm,
Um,
mm-hmm.
yeah. Do you want to take it from here?
Sure. Yeah. So it's interesting
Okay.
because actually we're going to need something which I don't think we have in here yet, which is user, right? Because now we'll want to pull all the listings off of the user as opposed to doing it from the listing model. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So in this case, this would become user dot. Um, don't they give you like a shorthand for
Yeah, they
this?
do. They do. I think it's get listings. I believe it's get listings.
Yeah, something it should exist, right? Like I know that there's going to be a
Yep.
function that exists, and then it's going to be actually be the same thing. It would be user create listing as well, right? Or
I don't know if
no,
that I don't
no,
know if that's the case.
yeah,
Like what
yeah,
you would do is
in
like
here,
you have a few different options here. And in fact like the yeah, something like that.
something like that, right?
Yep, exactly.
Because this is our
Um
context which has a user on it.
mhm. Yeah, that should work pretty good.
If
The
it's
thing I'm
better,
wondering
yeah,
is can we destructure ID from user, or like the way that I remember it is that the ID property on a Sequelize model instance is like a special getter. It's not just like a plain JS object. So I don't know
that's
if it can be
right.
structured
You're
if it can
right.
be destructured as you have it
You're
there.
right. Are
So we
we
might
passing through a
have to
user
actually
model?
yeah, exactly. So
Oh, I missed
that
that. Can you go
means
back to
that we can.
context?
Oh yeah, for sure. So this
Oh,
is the
we
user
are returning
reference.
the whole user. So smart. So there's two things I want to do here because my code is wrong again. This is, oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, yeah. You
Here
go.
we
You
go.
go.
This should be this, which
Yeah,
should come off
exactly.
of boop boop here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. And that's
That's
probably
what
why
I want.
get listings wasn't there because, well, it wouldn't know because it's
No.
being generated like for us, so it's not gonna be. Um, we're not gonna have autocomplete for it in IntelliSense because it's not like defined anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, and then yeah, listing dot create, but here we're specifying. Okay, so this should work. That looks right, right? Oh wait.
It does.
What's this though? We gotta change this part.
No, no, that's fine. I was just pointing out that like
Oh, it's a
for a
getter.
yeah, it's like a special it's like the same as
Got
if
it.
you're writing like writing a class
Yeah, yeah. With
and you
getters
say
and
like
setters. Yeah.
get yeah. And
Got
to
it.
my knowledge, you can't I don't think that
Destructure that.
this reworks with destructuring, yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea if it does. I'll take your
I
word
don't know
for
either.
it.
It's just a
Whatever.
feeling. It's almost like
I
what
got a
we were referencing
feeling.
at the beginning of the stream with the
Yeah.
utils function. Like,
Yeah. That was the
can we
best.
do this? I don't know, man.
Dude.
Like I don't.
Yeah.
It's like an electric fence. We've been burned as devs so many times that we're just like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, better
Just
not do that.
err on the fault of you can't do it. It seems risky.
Sure,
All right. So I think we're good. Should we test this?
let's test it out.
So if we jump back to the browser, here we are. So we're here. We're logged in. Uh, Loading the universe. So we have no listings. We have no listings, which makes sense. So we have the careers page. So I'm going to get this URL again. It's our listing URL.
Mhm.
Worked. Created. We got it back. Reload the page.
No,
Boom.
it worked.
It worked. Right
First
off the
try? Are
bat.
you kidding me?
Very first try.
It's
So
not supposed to happen
let's.
like that.
I know it's not supposed to happen like that. It's supposed to be broken right now. Let's see here. I feel like maybe it's a red herring. Maybe it's not working.
Well,
No,
one
yeah,
way
it's
to
working.
find out. Yeah, I'm pretty
It
sure
we
it's working.
One way to figure out is we can just look right here. This is definitely working. We're pulling out users. Right? ID equals
Yeah,
one, and then it's saying grab our listings, select our listings, where user ID equals one, right? And so that's firing, and we're getting valid results
beautiful.
back. Is what this is. That's amazing. That's a great thing.
That's awesome,
This
dude.
is super cool. Yeah, this is perfect. So honestly, I would have liked to have maybe messed around with like companies and like how we want to do that, but I think that's fine. We can save that for the next because I actually have like a hard stop in about 10 minutes. Um,
Perfect timing then.
yeah, this is perfect timing. So we can wrap up here, which is good because I'm super excited for the next one because we're going to kind of evolve the complexity of the API in the next um, stream. We have to, right? Because we
Yes,
want to associate companies with listings, and you need to be able to create a company if one doesn't exist, and like all this fun stuff. So I think that that's going to be pretty interesting.
I agree. Can't wait.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Shall we make a
And
commit here
oh,
and then wrap
always.
up?
I am afraid to commit, but yes, we can make one here. And I ordered that sticker. Ooh, so I'm so sorry. We will wrap up. But if you have not seen, uh, come on, give me my URL back. Uh, so Splush. They're just really awesome stickers. So I love these stickers. I ordered the deprecate one because it's amazing. It's hilarious. Deprecate. I got the insecure AF,
Can you
and then
paste
I
the
think
link in chat? for this?
Oh, yeah, I was going to. Absolutely.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Snack Overflow.
Oh yeah, there's so many good ones. These ones are so good. By breach because it's like secured instead of
Hmm.
yeah.
I dig
Hilarious.
it.
Hilarious. Silence of the Lambdas.
Oh my gosh.
You Visual Basic. So good. How many?
Awesome,
Yeah,
dude.
but these are really cool. Oh yeah, sorry for the derailment. Let's jump back to VS Code. We added user specific functionality.
Hmm.
I'll take
I
that.
think
That's good enough, right?
this is a really productive
I got
stream.
too
Like
many.
we wired
Yeah.
together two major parts, and like
Yeah, it was
it's
huge.
now feeling um like a real chunk of this app is completed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the part where we can start like iterating on the UI and then like improving and actually starting to build out like the part of that that's going to be the most useful, right? Like that's what I'm
Yep.
so excited about. So, if anybody wants to check out the repo, I'm dropping a link to its right now. There you go. So you can check it out
Wonderful.
there. Yeah, yeah. If you need a Postgres database, check out Render. Super easy to use. We've been enjoying it so far.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. All right. Cool. That's all I got. As far as coming up streams, I'm on a super time crunch, so let me go through this quick. We've got Orbit and Launchpad every Monday and Thursday. Unless something comes up. So yeah. Oh wow, they're raiding
Oh,
right as we are signing off. Oh, that stinks. James, thank you
James,
for the
thank you, man.
raid. Yeah, we really appreciate it, but like we're literally signing off like right now. Oh, sorry, but we might
Yeah.
raid someone, right? We're gonna find someone to raid.
Yeah, sure.
Um,
We'll pay it forward. How about that?
yeah, we'll pay it forward. We'll compile. We're compounding raids.
Yeah, appreciate it so much, James. Thanks for the raid, man. Hope stream was good today.
Seriously. Yeah. And yeah, so tune in next week. We got some good stuff coming up. And also, I just want to reiterate again, Space Camp. Y'all, if you have not heard yet, you need to go check that out. I'm trying to grab a link to that real quick. I don't even know where that's at. Oh, I know one place I can get it. Here, copy, paste. Ew. 2-day virtual event. There's an awesome schema design workshop. There's two awesome talks. There's some networking stuff and hanging out with yours truly. And Trevor, I believe you'll be there as well, right?
I will. Yeah, I'm going to be
Yeah.
hosting one of the live stream rooms day two, I believe.
Awesome. Yeah. So if you have
Yeah.
questions about Apollo, you want to meet some of the core team, you want to network with the community, you want to learn from Moon Highway about schema design, definitely sign up.
Awesome.
Okay, cool. I think you sent me a name. Have you sent
Yeah.
our?
So HTTP Junkie is live. He's building a full stack React app using Apollo, GraphQL, and Express with a Couchbase server. So I think that's perfectly relevant
Oh, that's
for
perfect.
our group of people right here. So let's go pay
HTTP
him a
junkie.
visit.
All right, cool. So I have queued up the raid. So I guess this is when we say our goodbyes, and then we go raid, and then we kill the stream, right? That's how this works.
How it works.
Nice. I'm learning, y'all. I'm learning. All right.
We're doing it.
Cool. Yeah, so we're ready. We could jump over whenever. So I guess we're good. I guess this will be goodbye.
Have a great week, everybody, and yeah, thanks again for tuning in.
Oh yeah. Here we go. Yay! And we have rated.
Awesome.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna kill our stream, and we'll see y'all later.